Okay, welcome to another quick video. So today we are going to be looking at this Lenovo V530. It's a 22-inch all-in-one machine with a Core i5 processor. So this has been purchased for a client who was previously using a similar model, the V520, with a Core i3 processor. Unfortunately, they damaged the LCD screen and just a replacement LCD screen costs around about 300 quid. That's if you source the part yourself and fit it yourself. Obviously, if you go back to Lenovo and use one of their authorized repair centers or send it back to their depot, then it's going to cost you significantly more than that. So the best thing that we are doing for them is to provide them with a new updated version V530, which comes with a Core i5 processor, similar sort of specs, similar size, but just a better processor all round. The only thing that I think they could do with improving upon is to these ship with a 1 terabyte hard disk, as do the Core i3s. Potentially what they should do is to replace the hard disk with an SSD drive. Probably 500 gig SSD drive would be sufficient. So without further ado, what we're going to do is we are just going to run through the unboxing and setup. So let's get into the box. I'm using my gloves so I don't contaminate anything. Obviously during COVID and lockdown, we all want to make sure that we are as safe as possible. It's a bit trickier with a little bit trickier with gloves on. They don't tend to grip as much. Okay, so out comes the stand base, and then we're going to take the peripherals box out, which should be keyboard, mouse and power supply, and we'll just put those bits down over there for now. And then we want to take this out as well. Get that over there. Piece of paper. Another peripherals box. And then the unit itself. There we go. Okay, so we're going to keep this lying face down for the moment because we need to install the stand. Excellent packing, which is what you want. Just be careful, lie that down. And the stand will go on like that, clips in, and then you've got a screw toggle here. Just do that up nice and tight. So the machine can rotate actually on the stand as well, which is quite nice. And stand that up. This comes with full swivel and tilt, so you've got a good range here. Potentially if it's on a low stand, for instance. And at the top here we've got the webcam with a nice little webcam cover, so when it's not in use, flick that over for security. We're going to take all these little peel off strips off. Of course, when you're using gloves you can't grip anything, but there we go, nice peel off there. Beautiful. Like so, and they've even put one separate one on their logo. So let's just use a knife to get under the back of that. There we go. Oh, we've got one more on the back covering the logo up. So let's just take that off as well. Okay, that's it in terms of the unit. So on the previous versions it had a pop-out webcam. This one is a fixed webcam. I like the way that you can sit it on the stand and the whole stand will rotate left and right, and you've got a good amount of up and down motion there. So to change these screens, there's one locking screw under the corner here, and then what you do once that's unlocked, you have to prise off the bevel around the outside, taking care that you don't actually break the display. So inside the first box we should have a power supply, so external power supply, mouse, power lead, and this clips on around the back, so you feed your power. Actually you can put that on before you put the base stand on. That just slips around there and you run your cables down through that, so I will do that in a minute. And then in the second box, this is should just be the keyboard, which it is, so that's absolutely fine. So what we're going to do, we're going to take his old machine away, and I'm going to use that for spare parts, and then he will have a nice new Core i5 processor. I really like the way that turns around, so it can just go straight into the back with the power. I'm going to use an existing keyboard to do the initial setup. We load basic software suite of tools for the client. They have Microsoft Office, and they have local backup and printing and scanning functionality as well for their printer. Okay, so that's it, and that's now powering up, so we shall run through the process. Another thing that I really like about these machines is the matte finish on the screen. You don't get any reflection, which is nice. Finally.
Hi there, I'm Cortana, and I'm here to help.
Yep, so I find Cortana quite annoying, so to shut that up, you just click on the little voice control on the bottom left here, and that will shut Cortana up. Okay, so we're in the United Kingdom. And United Kingdom for the right keyboard layout. We don't need another keyboard, so we skip that. Okay, so we always say I don't have an internet when we're creating our account, so that you can create a local account. And we're going to continue with limited setup, because that will finish off when we do connect to the internet once we've created the account. So we accept the terms and conditions, and we give it a name. So let's just use anything. And we'll give it a password. Only a very short password, and then we're going to enter our security credentials. This is so you can always recover it later on if you need to. Okay, so do more across devices with activity history. We always say no to that. We don't want to use Cortana, and we don't want to use speech recognition. We do want to get location-based services. We don't want to use Find My Device. We want to send basic information. We don't want to use handwriting, We're going to let Microsoft send us tailored experience, and we're going to use our app ID for tailored apps or tailored adverts. Otherwise you just get bombarded with absolute rubbish. We skip the protection of our device and all of those bits and pieces from Lenovo, because I'll be supporting this myself, and then does its final polish up, and then that'll go into Windows for us. Takes a few minutes just to set up the profile. Last step, and then this goes straight in usually. There we go. So we're in. So the first thing that we always do is we do a right click on the desktop, go to personalize, and then we add our icons or our icon set, which you do by clicking on themes and then desktop icon settings, and then tick computer user file and network. That adds the icons to the screen, and then we do a right click, sort by item type, so that that's always at the top. The next thing that we want to do is we want to go through and remove all the bloatware, so that's McAfee, all of the Lenovo apps. We do a right click and unpin these from the taskbar. So that's the Microsoft Store and the Microsoft Mail app. We go into our apps. That will populate in a minute. Here we go. And then we are going to remove some of the Lenovo stuff, but we're going to do that in a minute. First of all, we're going to remove McAfee LiveSafe. So our client doesn't use it, so they don't want that installed, so we're going to remove that. Tick the box, remove LiveSafe, remove all of the files. Ignore the you've still got an active subscription notification, because I presume you get a certain amount of time free. So if you wanted to use McAfee LiveSafe, then feel free to do so. So in terms of antivirus, what do we put on machines? So we use the Windows Defender that's built in, because it's good, and we also install Malwarebytes. Some clients pay for the premium subscription option on Malwarebytes. Others just like to use the non-premium, the free version, which doesn't give you any real-time scanning, and then they run that every month or so just to make sure that their system is still clean, just to mop up anything that Microsoft Defender might miss. However, Microsoft Defender has really come on a long way over the last few years, and the latest version of Windows is very, very good. Obviously, you've also got a firewall inside your router. However, you want to make sure that you're protected when you're on the internet. So wherever you're browsing, you can't guarantee that everything's safe on the internet. So it's always best to make sure that you do have a suitable antivirus package based on your use and what you do on the internet. Obviously, if you go to dodgy sites, you want to have a stronger antivirus product, and something that potentially is capable of recognizing and removing online threats. So while that's uninstalling, we are going to go and set up the power, which is in the settings. So you go to home and then into system, and then go down to power and sleep. So as you can see here, PC goes to sleep after 25 minutes of inactivity. So we always set that to never, and we want the screen when it's plugged in. Because this is going to be used for some streaming, I'm going to set that to 4 hours. Not very good for the environment, but as a streaming system, they want to have access to their desktop all the time, so they can see what's going on. Okay, so we'll wait for that to finish. Once it completes, you'll have to reboot. There we go. We're going to restart now. So the next thing that we're going to remove is an application called Vantage from Lenovo. So we're going to remove that. That's it gone off the bottom bar there. Then we're going to remove Microsoft Office from there, and we're going to remove Office 365 as well, and we're going to log on to the customer portal and download it from there. It's Microsoft Office removed. So that's all of what we call the bloatware removed. The reason we remove Office is we always download that from the customer portal because we just don't trust any software that's installed on a machine, and we clear it off and then make sure that we download it from the proper places. So the next thing that we're going to do is once you've removed all of your bloatware, you want to connect to the internet. We're going to say no to that, so we treat it like it's on a public network. And then we run the Windows updates. Check for updates. We run through this over and over again until there are no more updates that can be found. Then we give it another reboot, and then you're good to go. You're good to go to load whatever software on you want. So let's do a quick review of it. So pros are the way that the screen moves around on the stand, the swivel and the tilt facility. It's enormous area of travel. So we like that. We like the fact that you've got a built-in cover for your webcam. So they're the pros. In terms of usage, what would you use this for? So this is ideal for a home office or a home user. If you want to be doing video editing and things like that, it seems a little bit slow to me. And that's mainly because it's using a hard disk rather than an SSD drive. So with a hard disk, you get around about, say for instance, 50 megabits a second transfer speed. With a SSD drive, you get 500 megabits a second transfer speed. So using an SSD drive is going to really boost the performance, and that's the main source of an upgrade for older machines, is to replace the hard disk with an SSD drive. So going forward, what Lenovo should be really doing is offering this model with at least a 500 gig SSD drive, and that will give you much faster performance in terms of boot up, shutdown, opening applications, reading and writing from the disk. But apart from that, general use, absolute thumbs up, love it. So this was, I think this was £650. So again, you're paying for a Core i5 processor, 8 gig of memory, 1 terabyte hard disk, nice big screen, built-in webcam, excellent speakers and sound. So there are a lot more other expensive devices on the market. So we give this a thumbs up, but note out to Lenovo, don't ship with hard disks anymore. You should be really shipping everything with an SSD drive nowadays. So that's it from us. If you found that video useful, give it a thumbs up, and it'd be great if you can subscribe to our channel. and we will see you again in the next one. Thanks for watching.